We're reading from Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 1, Observing the Armies, texts 37 and 38. Yatena paśyanti lobhopahata-cetasaḥ kula-kṣaya-kṛtaṁ doṣaṁ mitra-drohe pātakam katham jñeyam asmābhiḥ pāpād asmān nivartitum kula-kṣaya-kṛtaṁ doṣaṁ prapaśyadbhir janārdana. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Janārdana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Purport. A kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle or gamble when he is so invited by some rival party. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could not refuse to fight because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana. In this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to the effects of such a challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept his challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langhate kirimya ipantamam vande sri gurum tinatarinam. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshumiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So Arjuna, he's a soft-hearted devotee. He didn't want to kill his family or his guru or his relatives. And he was overlooking all the bad qualities of Duryodhana and his brother. He wanted to overlook them. So many problems they caused to the Pandavas. First of all, they gave poison to Bhima when they were playing. All the other Pandavas went away, and Duryodhana gave Bhima some sweets that were poison. And Bhima, he can't resist any kind of food. So he got the poison, he went unconscious, and they put chains around him and threw him in the Jamuna river. But then he came out of it even better. He sank to the bottom. The Nagas took him, the snakes people, and they gave him a lot of tonics, and he became much stronger than before. And then again, there was the fire. The house was set on fire. Vidura helped them escape. And then there was a great demon in one village who was eating, Rakshasa was eating other people there, and Bhima killed him. And then the vicious assembly, where they tried to disrobe Draupadi. And also, after that, there was the battle of Kurukshetra, and Kṛṣṇa was on Arjuna's chariot. So then, and then lastly, the Ashvatthama sent a weapon to kill Parikshit in the womb of Uttara. Jai. Thank you. One Mataji has gone. We lost one lady. She went for water. So forgiveness, Arjuna wanted to forgive, and forgiveness is a Brahminical quality, a Vaishnava quality, but not for Kshatriyas. Arjuna's service to Krishna was as a Kshatriya, and Kshatriyas don't forgive. And that's the beauty of the Varnas. The Brahmanas are forgiving, that's their beauty. The Kshatriyas, their beauty is heroism and not retreating from battle. And the Vaishyas, their beauty is enriching cultural activities and cow protection. And the beauty of the Shudras is to be faithful in discharge of their duties to their master. So Arjuna, he didn't want to fight because he was seeing some faults in his occupation. But he could not refuse the fight. And he had to kill his relatives. So the Kshatriyas actually were breaking all four regulative principles. All four. They were breaking the principle of illicit sex. If any woman proposed to a Kshatriya, the Kshatriya could not refuse. He had to accept. Just like Bhima, one Rakshasi liked Bhima and proposed, and he had to accept her. So meat eating, they would eat meat from sacrifice. And intoxication, and that's why the Yadu dynasty was destroyed, because they all got intoxicated. Gambling, Yudhishthira could not refuse, and so he lost the kingdom from gambling. And so there is some fault in all of the four Varnas. The Kshatriyas must kill. The Brahmanas kill animals in sacrifice. The Vaishyas, they lie, hide their profit, go on the black market. And the Shudras have to serve a bad master sometimes and do bad things. So Arjuna was disturbed because he had to perform this duty which had a fault, conflicting duty, a service which had a fault mixed in with it. So how can the Kshatriyas live in this world and advance in spiritual life while performing conflicting duties? So 18th chapter Bhagavad Gita verse 48 says, Sahajam karma konteya doṣaṁ na tajet saradam vahidoshena tumenagnir ivavitah. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just like fire is covered by smoke. So one should not give up the work born of his nature, even if such work is full of fault. So although purports, in the Prabhupada's purport, he says, although fire is pure, still there is smoke. But smoke doesn't make the fire impure. Even though there's smoke in the fire, fire is considered to be the purest of all the elements. So if one prefers to give up work of a Kshatriya and take up the occupation of a Brahmana, he's not assured that even as a Brahmana there are no unpleasant duties. Perform sacrifice, killing animals, at least in the past. So one may conclude in the material world, no one can be free from contamination of material nature. So we may have some work, we may have to sell things and lie. My son used to sell things, that was his first job. And he said, you know, selling things means you have to convince people they have to buy something that they don't really need. So that's what selling means. So Haribo. So this is the Vaishyas. The Vaishyas must lie often. For you, I'm not making any profit. This is my cost price. And so this is the Vaishyas. And so Arjuna, he's actually a pure devotee. One lecture Prabhupada was giving in Hyderabad, and one man said to Prabhupada, you know, I think Arjuna was not a pure devotee because he heard Bhagavad Gita from Kṛṣṇa, and Krishna said, you should not lament the living or dead. But when Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was killed, then he was lamenting. He's not a pure devotee because he didn't follow Krishna's instruction. Prabhupada said, no, he is a pure devotee because even though his son was killed in the battle, that didn't stop him from doing his service of fighting. He continued his service, even though his son, he was lamenting for the death of his son. So, Kṛṣṇa, he did not like Arjuna's attitude of forgiveness. No, this is not for a Kshatriya. Arjuna is a devotee, so a devotee can excuse offense, but Kṛṣṇa will not forgive. Kṛṣṇa will not excuse. Arjuna was wanting, okay, let them be excused. Kṛṣṇa said, no, you have to fight and kill them. So this is a very difficult thing, killing your relatives. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Miche Maya Boshe Jacho Beshi, we're being carried away by the waves of Maya. In the rainy season, so many plants float down Jamuna River, big plants. And they're tossed together and sometimes separating. So together, we are together in this life. We're tossed together in a family, in a society, friendship and love, tossed by the waves of Maya, all of us. The Prabhupada said, nobody is your mother or father. They're a combination of Maya, and we're so attached to this combination, refusing to go back to Godhead. No, I have to take care of my children. Yes, so Kṛṣṇa is not forgetting the offenses of Duryodhana and friends, especially to Draupadi. When the offenses were being committed, Kṛṣṇa tolerated the insult to Draupadi by the Kurus and other injustices. So you might ask the question, well, why did Kṛṣṇa tolerate such injustices and insults in his presence? Why didn't he chastise the Kurus immediately? When Draupadi was insulted in the assembly, they were trying to see her naked. Kṛṣṇa gave her unlimited sari to protect her. But this silence of Kṛṣṇa did not mean he excused the offenses of the Kurus. In a purport in 3rd canto, Prabhupada said, there are so many other kings on earth who are also a burden, and they were constantly agitating the earth. So the Lord was waiting to get them all together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them all at once. Shortcut. Prabhupada said he wanted to make a shortcut in his killing business. All of them at once. One big bomb. Well, they did have atomic bombs in those days. It was called the Brahmastra, but they didn't use it. So before the battle, Kṛṣṇa went as a messenger. He tried to stop the war. But Duryodhana said, I won't give even a piece of land that you can put on the tip of a needle. But for Kshatriyas, they need to rule. They only asked for 5 villages. But no, he said no, so now they will fight for the whole world, for the whole kingdom. So before the battle, he met Kunti. And Kṛṣṇa offered obeisance to Kunti and asked her, do you have any message for your sons? So Kunti said, yes, Yudhisthira. Your pious credits will decrease as long as you allow yourself to remain like a beggar. Your excessive compassion, weakness of heart, and mildness are not befitting a Kshatriya. It is your duty to fight for regaining your paternal kingdom. So you should rescue your poor mother from humiliating life of having to live on the mercy of others. You are meant for ruling the Kuru kingdom, and if you do so, you'll receive great benefit. Then she had a message for Arjuna. Please remember how a voice from the sky announced the time of your birth. You would become equal to Indra in prowess, and after defeating all the Kurus and regaining your father's kingdom, you will perform 3 great sacrifices. To Bhima and the twins, she said, now is the time for you to show your strength. Remember all the insults you had to tolerate, especially Dushashan's words in the assembly. Dushashan said to Draupadi, now you have been won by us, you are our slave. So remember these offenses. So Bhima was so angry that time, fire was coming from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. Fire. Fire was coming out. Yeah. When they were trying to strip Draupadi. So Kunti is reminding them why you should fight. And Arjuna is forgetting his mother's words and the suffering of Draupadi. Why is he hesitating? We see in a previous verse, Arjuna said, let me see with whom I must fight. He was hesitating. He was hesitating. So Krishna knows past, present, and future. He knew why he wants to see them, because he's hesitating to fight. He's not going to fight. He's calculating, if I fight, how will I enjoy? How will they enjoy? What will there be in it for me? Like Duryodhana was always calculating, Arjuna is hesitating to do his service for Kṛṣṇa. So these were his excuses. If I do my service, I'll get sinful reaction. And he gives good reasons why he shouldn't fight. It says in Shastra, if you kill the elders of the family, there will be destruction of the dynasty. So sometimes we also hesitate to do our service. Why do we hesitate? Today I hesitated to go to the temple because it was pouring rain. Yes, and I didn't go actually, I hesitated. We're thinking, I was thinking my socks will get wet and, and it's cold and it's wet. If it wasn't so cold I would go, but it's pretty cold. So I hesitated to go to the Bhagavatam class today. So sometimes when somebody asks us to do some service, we say, oh, I didn't finish my rounds. Sometimes in India you go to make a life member and they say, when Kṛṣṇa wills me, then I will become a life member. Divine signals. They look for some signal. No, I didn't get any signal from Kṛṣṇa. Well, why he should talk to you? What are you doing that he should talk to you? Yeah, who does he talk to? Tesham satata yuktaram bhajatam priti purvakam. The one who is performing devotional service with priti, Kṛṣṇa will talk to him. He will give him intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Dadami buddhi okam tam. So Achyutananda, Prabhupada's disciple, gave an argument to Prabhupada. Most people say to us, this is preaching in India, you people in America, you already enjoyed sense gratification, that's why you're taking to this. So Prabhupada's answer was, then the hog would be the first-class devotee, because he's doing his sense gratification, doesn't care, sister, mother, daughter. So the hog would get the first-class certificate to be a devotee, because he's doing his sense gratification. So that's what his message was, his answer was. So he said, people are thinking, let's finish our sense gratification, then we'll think about Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So no, you put ghee on the fire and it will increase, it will not decrease. You will not get a desire, you will forget your desire for Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So Prabhupada said, especially in India, they're thinking, first we have to become Americans and then we will think of Kṛṣṇa. No, not like that. So another excuse people give when we preach to take a book, they say have no time to read. Of course, in India, many people have a good excuse and they can't read. They're illiterate. But that didn't stop the illiterate Brahmin in South India. Lord Chaitanya gave him his blessings. So when we hesitate, we lose valuable time. We should not hesitate. So Arjuna is hesitating to fight. But he's Gudakesha. Why should he hesitate? Because Krishna wanted to speak Bhagavad Gita, and he cannot speak to an ordinary man. Arjuna is his friend. He's above darkness, but he was playing like an ordinary man. So Krishna could speak Bhagavad Gita. And so Kṛṣṇa became his chariot driver to give him direction. And Kṛṣṇa, instead of taking direction from Arjuna, you go here, you go there, Kṛṣṇa is giving direction to Arjuna. No, you got the wrong attitude. You have to change your attitude. Now, actually, Kṛṣṇa, he's not only Arjuna's chariot driver, he's our chariot driver too. We are on a chariot of this body, and Kṛṣṇa is in the heart and he's directing us. Paramatma. So, when he becomes Arjuna's chariot driver, still he's God. He's still God. But because Arjuna is in such great love for Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa wants to do service for his devotee also. And that's why Arjuna, his devotional service was so powerful. He could reveal Kṛṣṇa as his chariot driver. So Kṛṣṇa is our chariot driver. Why do we hesitate to surrender to him? We think there's something else more valuable than surrender to Kṛṣṇa. We're not determined. Dvanda moha, it says in Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Dvanda means duality, illusion. Moha means bewilderment. Should I become Kṛṣṇa conscious or material conscious? Which one should I do? So, vyavasatmika buddhir ekeha kurananda. You should be one-pointed. If you're firmly convinced that Kṛṣṇa bhakti kole sarva karma krita hoy, if I serve Kṛṣṇa, all my desires will be fulfilled, then no duality, no hesitation. Should I do it? Should I not do it? So we hesitate because of Maya. There's a potency of Maya called prakshepat-mika. If you try to get out of illusion, she covers you. Prabhupada gives an example. Our students are coming to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and Maya will say, "Oh, why are you coming here? There's so many restrictions, so many rules and regulations. Better give it up." And you think, yeah, okay, what is this nonsense? Give it up. So this is called prakshepat-mika. Maya is dragging us away from here. Why this rascal is here? He must suffer under me more time. Then he can go. So this is Maya's business. She tries to keep us in the prison. So suppose a prisoner tries to escape. So many sirens go off. All the wardens come. So if we try to get out, very, very difficult. But if we surrender to Kṛṣṇa, he is the superintendent. He's not the superintendent. Maya is the superintendent. But we surrender to Kṛṣṇa. He can say, okay, let that one out. This one is pardoned. And Lord Chaitanya, he's the most merciful. He's made it very easy. He's saying, Jiv-jago, wake up, sleeping souls, wake up. Yes. And Kṛṣṇa came, he said, Sarvadharma Paritaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Just surrender to me. Mashucha, don't worry. I'll take care of all your sinful reactions. So in Nectar of Devotion, this verse is quoted, give up all your occupation, just surrender to me, and I assure you, I'll give you protection from all sinful reactions. So sometimes people think, well, if I surrender to Kṛṣṇa, then I cannot do my other duties. No, that's you can do. You can do everything. Kṛṣṇa says, don't hesitate, don't consider, because you're giving up all other engagements, there will be some flaw in your life. I'll give you protection, don't worry. So Kṛṣṇa says, try to follow me, I'll take charge of you. Mashucha means don't hesitate, do accept it. It's translated as do not worry, fear, do not fear. Also Prabhupada gives another translation, do not hesitate. We are hesitating sometimes. So Kṛṣṇa is so kind, he's asking us to do it. So it's our choice, and that's the purpose of this Bhagavad Gita, to convince us to surrender to Kṛṣṇa, as Arjuna was convinced after he heard the whole Bhagavad Gita. So next time you're hesitating to do some service, remember Kṛṣṇa's words, Ma Shusha. It's 1866. So I'll stop here. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask. Yes. Oh.
Just like Kṛṣṇa is the chariot driver of our chariot, also is driving our chariot.
Yeah.
He's not driving chariot only of devotees, but he's driving the chariot of the materialist person also.
Yeah. Well, yes, he's driving everyone's chariot.
Driving everyone's chariot. So sometimes the materialist person, they ask so many things and Lord agrees to them. How is that Lord doesn't agree to devotee sometimes, but agrees to the materialist person?
Because for the non-devotees, Krishna just follows the law. Okay, this is what they deserve, this is what they get. Not that they get everything they want. Poor man may not get his desire to be rich. They may not get everything. But for the devotee, it's a different treatment, special treatment. If something is bad for us, Krishna doesn't give it. Because we think, I want this, I want that, but we don't see what happens if I get this and I get that. We don't see what will be the consequence of our action. It may not be good for us. We may get lots of money and then we become away from Krishna consciousness and we start gambling and we start drinking. It may take us away from Krishna if we think this is my money. I must use it. We have to purify our money by giving in charity to this movement. We have to purify our money. Yeah, so he won't give us what is bad for us. And that's why some people are afraid to worship Krishna, especially Tamil Nadu. If they don't worship Krishna, and especially they say if he has a flute, don't worship him, because you may forget everything and lose everything. In where did I go? Malaysia, yeah. They are very afraid to worship Krishna. So, well, we're not afraid because you may lose everything, but you'll get Krishna, and that's everything.
One more point, just like you said that 1866, Masucha, do not fear.
Yeah.
But when we left our family and everything, still we have attachment with family. We cannot give up that family attachment.
Yeah.
But some of the person, they leave their house without informing their family, and their family people come and searching, where is my father, where is my son?
Yeah.
So they are actually the renouncer and we are not actually the renouncer.
Right.
Because we have still attachment with our family affection.
Yes.
So how to give up that one?
How to give up?
Family affection.
It will take time. It will take time. And there's only one way to do it, and that is to become more attached to Krishna. We have to practice maya sakta manapartavi. We have to become attached, asakta, Krishna says in 7th chapter beginning. Become attached to Krishna. And then, because then it will be easier for you to give up. It takes time though. This may take a whole lifetime, but before your death it should happen. Otherwise you will come back in your family again to suffer. Okay, you had a question over here?
Yeah, one quick question. So it's like there was a point next time if we get any service we have to think, if we hesitate. But there are some things like we have to think about. For example, something else is already lined up or something and we say no to service that time. Like for example, chanting is also a service kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sitting in kirtan, because this was a point of discussion few days back. Like I said, at the same time when I attend kirtan, I am getting one service. Whether should I go for service or should I just sit in kirtan and listen to kirtan? That is also service. Then two different devotees and there were different opinions. So
yeah, there will be always different opinions.
Yes.
Even in the spiritual world, there's difference of opinions between different gopis. So, yes, you have to see what will make you the most inspired. If kirtan inspires you the most, go for kirtan. If seminar inspires you the most, go for the seminar. So that you have to make those choices yourself, the priorities.
And the service as like other service which we are getting then? Like maybe it could be the service could be the reason for not doing another service.
It could be an excuse too. That you don't like the other service and you say, oh, excuse me, I have to go for kirtan. So you have to look in your heart and see what is actually you are doing. Nobody else can say for you what's in your heart. You have to see, is this an excuse for avoiding service that I don't like to do? Or I like kirtan better? No. But at least if you do have some other service at the time of kirtan, you can try to, make some arrangement that you spend half the week in kirtan, half the week in that service, like that. Yes. That's possible. Okay, any other? Yes?
When Arjuna hesitated when Kṛṣṇa drive the chariot in between the two so Kṛṣṇa read his mind. So he understood what is calculation.
Exactly, he understood.
So in our day-to-day life also we are calculating everything. What's the profit I can get? If I do service, 4 hours service, can I get prasad? Can I get ashram place? Can I get this one? Can I get that one?
That's true.
So even from childhood also we practice like this.
Yes.
If you want to go to pass examination, go to the Lord, pray to the Lord. Why you go to the Lord, please, I want to pass the examination.
That's good, you go to the Lord. That's very, at least you go to the Lord. That's good.
So we are expecting something instead of our service, right?
Yeah, that's natural. That's natural. That's how it is set up nowadays. In the early days, it was a lot of austerity. More austere to live as we were just on the floor sleeping. 18 years.
Yes.
I was on the floor sleeping on a chatai in India. Yeah, and no AC, no heater, no. Yeah, but I was in Calcutta. It wasn't too cold or too hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in the early days, it wasn't like that. Because you could get a place, but we could have stayed in U.S. and had a better place, Instead we were on the floor in India, no furniture, nothing, living in the kitchen. But now, it's like that. I think some Indian people join just for the food and place to stay. So that's okay, because Krishna and Bhagavatam, Shukadeva Goswami says, whether you have full of desires or no desires, you should worship Kṛṣṇa. It's okay. It's all right. Just worship Kṛṣṇa. Full of desires, or you're liberated, or you have no desires, just worship Kṛṣṇa.
But the main philosophy is, by Prabhupada's translation, we should not expect fruits.
Yes.
We should not expect the fruits for our action.
Well, what that means is that mostly for these people who are working outside, that they're getting fruits. But those fruits should be used in Krishna's service. Make your house a temple, offer your food, have namhat, distribute prasad. So that's what that means. Those who have surrendered everything and live in the temple, it's not the same. It's not exactly the same. Because that's natural to eat, have a place to sleep and eat and little place to sleep. Eat prasad. Yes?
Lord Kṛṣṇa accepted the post of a chariot driver, which is very low grade work.
Very low grade, yeah.
But when Arjuna was to turn his chariot to the right side, he kicked him on the right hip.
Yeah. Arjuna was Kicking with his
The
foot
shoulder.
this way on the shoulder. Yeah, I know, it's very
And
amazing what Kṛṣṇa did.
Accepting his kick.
Yeah, true, that's true. Because you cannot hear, if he says something, it's battle, you can't hear anything. There's so much noise, very heavy sound in the battle. People shouting, people screaming, people crying, it's not normal. So he has to use his feet so that he knows which way. That's right. Any other?
Then one more question.
Yeah.
Mataji asking question, I want to go to kṛtam or I want to do this. I want to know clearly, kṛtam also devotion service.
Yeah.
Yes.
This also
Yeah.
devotion service. I am doing Chaba 16, that is also devotion service. If I do fasting and Ekadashi, that is also devotion service. So, how to define exactly how devotion service?
Sometimes I think.
No, it's all devotional service. That's not a problem. That we know. But sometimes in temple, authority will say, you do this service. But you may think, oh no, I like kirtan more. I will go to kirtan. So that's what we're talking about here.
So today what happened? Maharaj gave class.
Yeah, which Maharaj
The
was?
Bhaktivinoda Maharaj. His Holiness Bhaktivinoda
But,
Maharaj.
oh yeah, okay.
Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj gave the class.
Okay.
He is coming from my hometown. I want to attend the class. But the people call me, come, you have to do start service early.
Oh.
I want to attend the class, I want to go to the service.
Well, you have to go online. You can hear the class now. It's on VrindavanTemple.com. Yeah, you can. I got one class from there. Yeah, so you can you can hear the class, because now we have modern technology. So if you have a phone, if you have a computer, you can hear the class. You can search Vrindavan Temple. It will be up tomorrow, not today.
Yeah, up tomorrow.
It will be up tomorrow. Yeah.
So like this, how to choose? Priority wise, how to choose?
Well, if you are under the temple authority, you have to follow what they say. If you're, yeah, you have to, if they're giving you a place to stay and food to eat. And that's why Bhishma, he fought on the side of Duryodhana, because they were giving him food to eat and place to stay. So he had to fight for Duryodhana. So that was in a bad way, but it's also in a good way. You are serving the temple, so therefore you must follow what they say, what they tell you to do. And then now it's very nice, because you can hear the class also, because we have this technology. You don't miss anything. You can hear the kirtan also. You just put the earphones on while you're doing your service, and you can hear the kirtan.
Doing what?
Sometimes I think when these kind of things come, I think, am I following my mind or should I follow the instruction? like I like this, but I want to do this. So it's like my wanting is still here and I'm not following.
Well, if you are not under temple, if you're not living in the temple, if you're living outside, then you have your choice.
But it's
Inside the temple means I don't have the choice.
No, you don't have choice. You have to follow authority, because you have obligation to them.
You have choice. But if the senior devotee said, so it won't be like we are saying no to them again and again. So that is also coming to mind, like since they said it, so we should at least listen what they are saying.
Yeah.
Maybe they need something.
You should talk to the person who gave you the service and tell them all what's in your mind. Because it's good if they hear what you're thinking, and they can advise you then better. It's good to discuss. Let them know. You can also do, it's not like you're forced. Prabhupada said there should be no force.
Yeah, it's not.
There should not be force. But if you are brahmachari, I don't know, in the temple, then. Yeah. Okay, any other question?
Many devotees complain the mind is not fixed.
Mind is not fixed, yeah? Yeah, that's normal.
Arjuna asked this question to the Lord, Chanchalam hi mana Kṛṣṇa parmathe balvadridham.
Yeah.
The Lord said, I accept that mind is very notorious, but you can fix it by abhyasa, by chanting of the holy name and renunciation.
Yeah, well, he said practice and detachment, exactly. Yeah, by practice and detachment. So yes, our practice is chanting and detachment, and the mind can be fixed. Detachment means don't listen to the mind. Don't listen.
Only listen to the mind.
That's detachment. You want to be detached? Don't listen to your mind. Any other question? Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.